Hi, my name's Logan Riley Bruner. I play Fred Benson on Stranger Things 4, and this is Young Entertainment Mag.
You know what that just reminded me of? Is it kind of like slating when you go into an audition?
Yes, totally.
Are you allowed to give us your slate and like what that looks like?
It changes so much because everyone wants something different. It's where you are, or who you're with, or how tall you are, or all of those things. So it kind of varies from time to time. But that's the general, what I just did is the gist of it, is like name, role, sometimes height. But yeah.
Cool. That's so interesting to know. I love that. So please share with us, who is Fred Benson?
Ooh, Fred Benson is a journalist. Uh, that's about all I can say, unfortunately, because I want fans to be really excited about getting to meet Fred and getting to kind of see the journey that he gets to go on. He's definitely the kind of guy who maybe pokes his nose where it doesn't need to be poked. But hopefully he doesn't get in too much trouble. Yeah, he's a journalist who's constantly looking for the next big scoop. So I'm really excited for fans to get to meet him and find out more about him.
Absolutely. We can't wait. So how did you land the role of Fred Benson on Stranger Things? And what did you know about Fred before going into the audition?
It's a long story, so I'll try and keep it as short as possible. It starts back in like 2015. I got this audition for a show called Montauk, to audition for this really interesting character named Jonathan Byers, who I thought was super cool. I thought he was a really great part. I thought he'd be super interesting, but I was way too young to play him. So I auditioned at the time, and then this show, Stranger Things, came out, and I completely fell in love with it. And so I told my agents essentially like, hey, I know I already went in for it once, but if they ever need anybody else, please, I would love to be on this show. And then fast forward to 2019, the audition for Fred came up. All the sides had been completely changed. So like none of the names in the sides were the actual characters. And actually one of the scenes that I auditioned with, I don't think was ever in the show. It was just a scene to like see what I was like. But I knew Fred was a journalist. I knew he was a bit of a hothead. He's really passionate about what he cares about and getting to the bottom of things. And so going in, I had very little information, other than like he wears glasses. So I went to my local pharmacy. I picked up the highest prescription that I could. I did the entire audition like basically blind because I couldn't see anything. But I really wanted to fulfill the world and kind of take homage from other people who have auditioned for Stranger Things and really brought the entire environment in. And so I really put my everything into it, and the Duffers liked it. So I ended up doing the show.
That's amazing. So, okay, I'm so impressed about the glasses moment you just shared, because for anybody out there that has not ever tried on a pair of glasses that aren't their prescription, that's no joke. You're like,
Oh.
you can't see anything. You're so dizzy. So that's so amazing that you committed like that. So I assume you were like off script for that audition, because I don't know how you could read
Yeah.
the sides while you have those glasses on.
I try to be for every audition. I mean, I feel like the ability to get the words and just know what you're gonna say next rather than having to look down just makes it so much easier to exist in whatever world I'm trying to create. So being able to just like let that paper go and be like, okay, I'm gonna act with you and we're gonna get through it.
Yes, that's
Cool.
amazing. Do you have any tips or tricks for memorizing your lines on short notice?
Yeah, I learned this trick a while ago. I'll write down every action and word that I have to like say. So if I have to like eat something or like take glasses off or pick something up, I'll like write all of that down on a sheet of paper, and I'll like say the lines while I'm doing that. And then I'll flip to the next page and I'll just write the first letter of every word that I have to say. So if it's like, hey, how are you? It'll be like HHAY. And then I'll read that shorthand as a way to like trigger my brain to be like, oh, this is what the next word is. But it makes sure that I'm not just reading the lines over and over. It makes sure that I'm actually like starting to put into practice, like, this is what the memorization is. This is what each thing is. And I'm not missing a word because I know, okay, I didn't just say a word that started with Y. I'm missing something. Something's wrong here.
Wow, that is so impressive. I've actually never heard that second one before, the first initial of every word. That is so cool. Thanks for sharing that. I feel like that's really going to surprise a lot of people. I've never heard that. So
yeah, it's a fun one. It's definitely a way to make sure that I get every word, because I'm also a writer, so words are like super, super important to me. So I want to make sure that if a writer put a word down, I'm going to say it.
Yes, I love that. Respect for the writers. That's amazing. You must be a dream to work with on set. I can already tell.
Thank you.
Yeah. So in the show, is Fred closer in age with Eleven and the whole gang, or is he closer in age with Nancy, Jonathan, Steve?
I will say that I'm closer in age to Nancy and Jonathan and all of them. I don't want to say whether Fred's closer to one or the other. I feel like he kind of straddles the line in between the two. He's a little young, but also a little old.
Okay.
But he straddles the line in both worlds, is what I'll say.
Love that. I love that. That's awesome. So from the little we know, it seems Fred is trying to pursue some form of journalism, and he starts poking around, which you just confirmed he does journalism. Is he someone we will see often, or is he more of like a smaller character that pops in and out, where it's like he shows up when things are getting suspicious and people are like, oh no? It kind of reminded us, from like what we do know, a little bit of one of the Scooby-Doo characters, like always putting, your nose in somewhere you don't belong. So are we hitting the nail on the head with that one?
I love the Scooby-Doo reference. The Scooby-Doo characters are like such loves to me. I can't say a ton about how much Fred is around, but I'm excited for the amount of time that he gets to be around these people. I got to work with a lot of really incredible people, so having the opportunity to just like do scenes with a bunch of really great actors was tremendous. And I want people to be surprised whenever Fred pops up. So I'll keep it at that.
I love that. Are you able to share with us if you think Fred does more harm or more good?
I'm always going to be partial to loving these characters that I play. I'm always the guy that wants to defend anybody that I play. But I think I'll leave it up to the fans to decide whether he does more harm than good.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, a little teaser. Now we're all going to be just so excited to dive in. I love that. Is Fred someone, well, I know that you can't share a lot. So if you can't share, that's totally fine. But I'm just going to go ahead and ask, and you can shut it down if you can't answer. But is Fred someone we're supposed to like, or we don't think he's going to be the bad guy, but will we in some way kind of just like, no, anytime Fred comes on, because he's going to, stir up something. What do you think the audience will feel every time Fred comes on the screen?
I mean, I hope that the audience likes Fred. You always hope that the audience likes the characters that you play, especially on a show like Stranger Things, where there have been like so many iconic characters that have just really become a part of the show, whether for an episode or a whole season or all 4 seasons. I can't say what the Duffers' intention with Fred was, but I do hope that the audience really ends up liking Fred.
I'm sure we will. You are so likable as a person. I can't imagine that we won't fall in love with your character. So
thank you.
That is so exciting. So what was your favorite, or what has been so far your favorite part about filming Stranger Things?
I think just being able to be a part of something that's so much a family. There's really been that, like, a lot of the other cast in past seasons has said that it's a very welcoming environment, and that's absolutely true. The cast and crew were all just amazing and really welcoming and made me feel like I was a part of something special, which is not always something that you get when you're kind of stepping into something that's been going for a while. Sometimes there's that feeling of like, oh, you're the new kid on the block, so like, you can hang out over there and we're going to do our thing. But there was very much a feeling of just like being a part of something and being with people who really wanted me there and were happy that I was able to be a part of it. So I think my favorite part has just been being able to work with some incredible people who are really, really talented and just really, really kind. There's no ego on that set, which in the entertainment business is rare.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to just be in a place where everybody just wants to do the work and just wants to really tell a really, really interesting story. So I think that was my favorite part.
That is so cool. And that's what you deserve. And I totally hear you on that. It's like sometimes you walk onto a set and you're the new kid on the block and you kind of like, have to go in your own trailer and not hang out, in the other Star Wagon. So I love hearing that because that's, what you deserve. And I'm sure your experience has just been so incredible because of that element. And that brought me into my next question. Was it hard coming into an already established cast and what that experience is like? But it sounds like they just had open arms. Do you have a specific memory or story or a moment where, you first come on a set and you're like, I don't know how this is going to go because they're all besties already. And then was there a moment or something you can put your finger on where you're like, wow, I am actually a part of this and they're so welcoming and this is so cool?
It's interesting. I felt like I was a part of the family from immediately upon walking on the set. There was never that feeling of like, am I not? Everyone really welcomed me with open arms. But I think the moment in what you're saying is there was a night that we had finished shooting super late and a couple of the cast were all going back to the same general location. And I had to do like one or two more things before I was able to go. And I remember just thinking like, oh, okay, well, I guess I get the ride back to the hotel alone tonight. Like, I'll just listen to some music. And I came out to get in my van and like 4 people from the cast were like, hey, like we made sure that we waited so that we could all like ride back together. And I got to like chat with some of them on the ride back. And we talked about art and writing and creativity and like what we wanted to do with our careers. And it was just that moment of like, oh, wow, like I'm here and I'm with these people and they want me to be with them. And it was a great feeling.
That's so sweet. I'm so blown away because I feel like that's kind of rare and that's so nice that they went out of their way. I mean, they should do that, but you never know,
right.
How people are gonna, act or be. A lot of people just in life are not super aware of like, the new kid on the block and that sort of thing. Like we talked about the new kid in school. So it's so nice that they had that hyper awareness and they clearly loved you and wanted to hang out. So I love that. That's really cool. And it's funny how in life you go through certain situations and, if they wouldn't have waited for you, you would have been like, oh, okay, and it kind of makes you feel a certain way, but it just goes to show it has nothing to do with you as a person. It's all about
Right.
other people around you and how they treat you. And I love that is your experience. And it's so cool, as a fan of the show to hear that about these incredible people that you love watching and look up to, that they are just truly awesome souls too. So I love that. Thanks for sharing that.
I mean, they're amazing. And like, I totally would have understood. Like, it's a long 12-hour day. We're shooting all day and really trying to make sure that this show is as good as possible. At the end of the day, like, you kind of just want to go back home and go to sleep. So to have them be like, no, let's wait these extra 15 minutes. Let's make sure that like we're all together. We're all getting out of here. It was really great. And yeah, I love everybody on that show. The people that I worked with and the people that I didn't work with, I'm incredibly proud and just honored to get to work alongside some really incredible people. And I can't wait to see after Stranger Things 4 and beyond, like what they end up doing and hopefully getting to cross paths with them again in the future.
Yeah, that is so cool. I am so excited for you to get to experience such an incredible cast like that.
Yeah.
So what is different about this season versus the others?
It's the same Stranger Things that fans love. I don't want people thinking that we're going completely off the rails, but it is definitely darker. There's definitely some more horror elements in there. If the first 3 seasons were like PG, we're maybe creeping up toward PG-13. It's definitely upping the ante, but it's still the same. It's the same Stranger Things that you know and love. Just everybody's growing up. They're not in middle school anymore. You can only be young for so long. So sometimes you gotta grow up and face some monsters.
Oof, that's a great way to put it. I just got chills when you said that. That's awesome. Okay, so this next question, we already know the answer. Were you a fan of Stranger Things before coming on the show? So here's what I want to ask you instead. As an actor, I can only imagine what it's like to want to be on a show and then you actually get to be on the show. Like, come on, that's crazy. Can you talk about that experience and just what that was like? And the process to mentally and emotionally, where you read these sides back in 2015, then you tell your agents like, hey, I'm obsessed, I need to get on this show. Did you think you were going to get on the show? Like, walk us through. And when I say did you think you're gonna get on that show, I mean back in 2015 at some point, did you really think like, yeah, I'm gonna be on the show? Or was it like, holy cow, this is a dream come true, I would have never guessed this in a million years?
I think it's more the second. There was really a feeling of like, I would love to be on this, but like, I'm not gonna hold out hope. I'm just gonna enjoy it as a fan and really like it. I'm a little too young to be a part of the like Jonathan Nancy crew, and I'm a little too old to be a part of the 11 kind of all them crew. So I'm probably not going to end up on this, but I'm just going to love it and enjoy it. And then to get the audition was like, okay, let's really just bring everything. But you know what? I'm not a super well-known actor, so I mean, maybe yes, maybe no. We'll see what happens. And I remember I was sitting on this couch actually, with my mom, right at the end of 2019, and I like looked down at my phone. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and I just got the email that was like, congratulations, you have been booked on Stranger Things. And I just screamed. I like jumped up. My mom thought something awful had happened. She was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I got cast. I'm gonna be on it. I'm doing it. And then it was I was supposed to start filming March 2020, and we all know what happened in March of 2020. So then there was another 9 months where it was like, okay, I'm on it, but who knows? I mean, they might decide that like Fred can be added to another character and maybe they don't need him anymore. They might decide that, oh, we didn't really want to do that storyline, so we're going to change it. They might decide like, oh, we didn't have the money to bring you out, so we're going to cast somebody from Atlanta and we're going to go that direction. But at the end, they set everything up and they got me out there, and everything was super safe, and I was able to be a part of this thing, and it was really just a dream come true. I remember the first time I walked like onto set to film, because we had like costume fittings and all of that stuff. But the first time that I walked on and like met the Duffer Brothers and like settled in to do my first scene, I was like, okay, this is happening. It's real. And now I have to do it. Now it's not just an idea. Now it's like, okay, I'm walking onto a show that I know how much I love, and I know how much these fans love this show. I've got to make sure that I'm delivering every moment, every day, that everything is just like perfection. And the crew, especially the Duffer Brothers, really made that so easy. They just like, they put me in a position to really execute, and I got to just basically have fun for a couple moments, I'll say. I'm not going to say how long I was filming, because I feel like that gives away how long I was on the show, but I did get to be there for a little while. And
oh my gosh,
play.
That is so exciting. I love hearing this. This has truly been one of my favorite conversations I've had, because to hear you coming from this place of like loving the show and wanting to be on it, and then it happening, is just the coolest arc, if you will. That is so exciting. Is there anything mentally when you're going, you seem to me like the kind of person that's like, okay, I'm gonna go into this audition and I want this so bad, but I also I'm confident still if I don't get it. Like that's the energy I get from you. Is there anything that you did going into that audition to, because I would imagine, but tell me if I'm wrong. I would imagine that like subconsciously you'd put a little pressure on yourself, like, I want this so bad. How
Oh,
do
for
you
sure.
maintain that balance of, because it's like when you put too much pressure on yourself, it's hard to perform in any situation in life. So how did you walk into the audition room with that balance?
I think it's just like knowing that it's just another audition. And like as much as I wanted it, auditioning is the job. Acting and getting to be on a show, that's the paid vacation that I get to go and have fun. The auditioning and the like, because it wasn't even going into an audition room. That was a self-tape. I like put myself on tape, got the sides, like did it in my apartment. But really it was just, I put the glasses on and I knew I had done the work and I had pieced together a couple things just from like loving the show and was like, okay, I think that this is who this character's talking to. I think this is what they're talking about. I think this is where they're going. So I'm just really gonna do my best. And I took a cue from Doc Ray and seeing his Billy audition and just that world of like, I am this character for like 3 minutes. You are going to fully believe that I slated with the glasses on. I did the whole thing like completely in character just to be like, I can play this guy. I am this guy. Give me a shot. And it ended up working out.
That is so cool. Oh my goodness. And how awesome too, as far as like, I'd only imagine, because now it's like a self-tape world from what I'm hearing. So I assume it's kind of cool that it's like, okay, if I didn't get the first take right, I can do another take. Whereas when you're in the room, sometimes it's like, you can't necessarily just give yourself a second take. So that's probably pretty cool too, that you got to take the time to really just get into that character. But that's cool that you slated with the glasses on. That's fun to know that.
I mean, it becomes a little bit of a double-edged sword, right? Because when I get to go into the room, I get like all the energy of the casting director and like I can really feel if like what I'm giving is working or if it's like they can say like, okay, that was a great take, but it was completely wrong. Try it like this. But when I'm self-taping, it's just me. It's me in my apartment and trying to figure it out as best I can. And sometimes it ends up being like, okay, I'm on take like 25 and I don't think I've figured this out yet. Something's missing, and so you can end up like grinding it into the ground. So the world of self-taping, I feel like, is a blessing, but it's also like there comes its own struggles with it too.
That is so interesting, and that's great feedback, because you're right. It's like when you're in the room, they can give you a new direction, give you a new choice to make, and so that's super interesting to hear. Wow, that's cool for us. Outside looking in, we love hearing stuff like that. It's so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, in the room, the casting director can know information that I don't. That like, oh, they didn't send you the script, so you don't know that actually this character is the killer. Like, in that world. And that's why he seems suspicious here. It's not because he's weird, it's because he's hiding something. But when you're self-taping, it's like, I get what I've got and I've got to just go for it. There was a moment in my audition for this that I played in the audition completely different than I ended up playing it on the show, because I came up with a thought in my head that ended up being nothing like what was happening in the actual scene when I had all the context and all the information. But I just made a choice and was like, this is how I think he's going to approach this conversation now based on what I know. And then when I got there, the Duffers were able to be like, okay, yes, but no.
That's super cool. It's a testament to your talent, that they were able to like see your tape and be like, okay, well, that's the choice he made. That was a brilliant choice. It's not the choice in the script, but that's cool. Like when he is out on set, we're going to tell him, what that choice actually is. So that's exciting. Do you ever share your self-tapes? Will we ever get to see that at some point?
I tend to keep them secret because so many of them are like shows that haven't come out, or shows that are like in progress or never got made, or movies that are coming out. You'll have to ask the Stranger Things folks if they're ever going to release my self-tape, because if they do, I mean, I'd be totally cool with it. But
yeah, or maybe when you're at the Oscars, the Emmys someday, we'll see like a whole reel of them, you know, edited together, all your self-tapes. That's exciting. I feel like, okay, you've done such an incredible job at diving in. I really feel like I know what your experience was like. So what are you hoping fans take away from this season? There are so many life lessons usually in these fantasy type shows, but from you personally, what do you hope fans take away?
I think, and it's going to sound so cheesy, I hope that fans take away that we really love the show as much as they do. And that, like, at the end of the day, whatever lesson you end up getting about growing up, about becoming who you are, about really owning your own truth and your own power, I hope that the fans are really able to just look at this season that's taken like 3 years to make and really see all the time and the effort that we put into it, and how much we care about these characters just as much as they do. So that's really the base of what I want them to get. There's lessons and there's morals, and I'll leave that to the fans to discover. But I really hope that they end up taking away that we do love this series, and that it means as much to us as it does to them. And we're just happy to share it.
Yeah, that's incredible too. It will strengthen, I'm sure, as the fans watch, we will feel that like sense of community as we, you know, feel how much you guys put your heart and soul into filming. Was there a challenging part about this project, whether it was, well, really any part of the process? And if so, how did you overcome it?
Honestly, not really. I mean, like, there's challenges as an actor. There's things that like push me in emotional ways. There's things that push me in physical ways. Stranger Things is a physical and emotional show. No matter what character you're playing, you're probably going to end up running at some point. You're probably going to end up screaming about some stuff at some point. But really, everyone just made the whole process so easy to navigate, whether it was traveling, whether it was hair, makeup, whether it was costumes, whether it was the acting. Like, everyone really just made everything super safe and super welcoming. There was never a moment that I felt like I was stressed or anxious about something that I had to do. And if I was anxious, it was because I cared. And it was because I was like, no, I really want this to be good. I really want it to be well executed. And everyone around me was very much able to maneuver that and help me to get to the place that I needed to get to in order to give the performance that I ended up giving. And so, yeah, I feel like challenges, not really, thankfully.
Yeah, that's incredible insight into your experience, and really is a testament to what you've been saying all along, how it was just almost like a flawless experience. Like, as an actor, I'm sure something you dream of your whole life, and then it happened. So I'm really excited for you, and just, I can only imagine where your career is going to go from here. Is there one thing that you learned from a fellow cast member that you want to share?
I think, I don't know, learned, I think saw that like I'm worthy of like standing up for myself, that if things are like, if I don't agree with something and I feel like something should maybe change, or if something's going in one direction and I feel like it needs to go in the other, I really got to see these people who are younger and maybe around my age or a little bit older than me really just be able to stand in their own power and be like, this is what I need and this is how I need it to happen. And not in a like diva way, not in a like, I need red M&Ms in my lunch basket, but like, no, we're all human beings and we're all working on the same thing. We're all equals here. So let's make sure that like we're all treated with respect and we're all really given the same treatment. And so I feel like I had that lesson reaffirmed in my head while I was on set. It's like, oh, okay, I'm allowed to stand up for myself, which was nice.
That is cool. That's something that we can all learn from too, because it's so easy to question yourself or even feel like, whether you're an actor on a new set you've never been on before, or you're starting a job as a barista at Starbucks and you're like, you know, the new kid, and it's like, it's so hard sometimes to remember you are worthy of having your own opinion in your own way, of course, respectfully. So that's really cool. That's inspiring to hear, because I think it's so easy to look at people, you know, like you, and be like, he must have, you know, everything figured out and all have all this stuff together. And so to hear like, that's a lesson that you know, are learning and still reaffirming, that's inspiring to everybody that's going to watch. So thank you for sharing that. That's really powerful.
Of course, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. So, okay, we are almost wrapping up here shortly. Are there any characters from any other shows, films, or books that you took inspiration from to create your character, Fred?
Honestly, no. I feel like Fred is so uniquely him that like to take inspiration from other aspects. I listen to music a lot, so I have like a playlist that was Fred. I have a specific album that's Fred. I'm not going to say what the album is because I feel like it gives away a little bit of what happens to him. But I'm a music guy. I'm a like pop in the headphones and like let music take me to a different place. So my real inspiration came from that, and from just like really being able to put myself in the right headspace every day. But yeah, I tried to just build Fred based on the words that I got given and the energy of the world around me and just what I could bring from myself.
Yes, so this is it. I can't wait to see everything you've done, because this sounds like this character is 100% you, amplified. You created it. How brilliant! And I've heard that a few times from actors now in these conversations, that they have a playlist that really helps them get into the headspace, and that's really cool. So I know that there's a lot that you are going to take away from this experience, but when it's all said and done, what's the one thing that you really are going to carry with you that you took away from this experience? It can be a lesson in life or in acting. What's that one thing that Stranger Things has done to just change your life?
I think honestly, the friendships. Like, I know that sounds cheesy, but like the people that I got to work with were incredible. I'm still in contact with a lot of them, and just getting to share that joy and this process with some really incredible people, a lot of whom are around my age. And so I'm gonna get to watch like grow in the industry and hopefully run into again to really feel like I've met a lot of people who, if we ran into each other on a set again, are gonna just have nothing but joy for each other. Is just really the thing that I hold on to. I hold on to the moments that I remember the most from being on set are the moments of just being human to human with these people and just being able to be authentic and have that joy. So I think that's what I'm gonna hold on to.
Yeah, relationships in life are everything. And so I am totally on the same page. It's like, those are the memories that will truly transcend everything and last forever. So I'm so glad to hear that you just had the best experience. So, well, thank you so much for joining us. This was such a pleasure, person to person. I'm just so excited for your career. I can tell you are just such an incredible human, and you're going to do amazing things. And I can't wait to see where you go. So thanks again.
That's so sweet. I really appreciate it.
Yes, it was great talking to you, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
It was great talking to you. Hopefully.
See you later. Bye. Yeah.